Hello everyone, my name is Gary Maloney, and I am here for a special edition of Sacktown Slam. Now, I wish this was under much better fucking pretenses, because this has, but this week, or last week, rather, was just a fucking epidemic for wrestling. I mean, it was absolutely horrible. And Monday Night Raw, apparently they're going for a worst of 7 series this year, because they had yet their 6th lowest Raw ever in its 25-year history. I want that to just sink in for all of you that are like, either A, you're super in denial, you don't want to say the product is shitty, you don't want to sit there and say WWE can do any wrong, you want to be like, well, if you don't like it, don't watch, me. Okay, first of all, I could give a fuck about all those people that are like, oh, if you don't like it, don't watch, me. A, you are all corporate shills, and you just accept sub-mediocrity at this point, and have allowed yourselves to allow WWE and Monday Night Raw to literally pull the wool over your eyes with their shitty product. Number 2, I fucking hate this whole, if you don't like it, don't watch. I used to love watching WWE. You know how much it hurts to see this product go to absolute shit in a 4-year fucking period? 4 years. And you pissed away your father's company. Just take that into consideration for all you fans that are, oh, if you don't like it, don't watch. I'm gonna explain a few things in this video, and maybe for those of you that have a grain of intelligence, you'll fucking get where I'm finally fucking coming from with my videos. So, as I said, this is their 6th lowest ever rated Raw. Now, what if I told you that all 6 of those came this year? Yeah, all of them came this year. Now, obviously, the product of Raw has just been bad for the last few years, and I'm not going to make any excuses. Ever since this show went to fucking 3 hours, it has been abysmal. I'm very happy they cut the runoff time off. Finish your shit up, finish it the fuck up, and get the fuck out of there. Now, honestly, at this point, I'm falling asleep during Monday Night Raw. That is fucking horrible for this product. So, is there a way to save this product? Yes. But is Vince gonna do it? No. But I am A, gonna call them out on some shit in this video, and B, I'm gonna tell them how to fix it in this video. So, and for those of you that do not agree with what I am saying, you are now the minority. And I am sorry, but when every fucking person in this YWC is coming out and saying that Monday Night Raw is shit, you can't defend this show anymore. When guys like Steven Larson, who are the most positive guys in this fucking community, are saying that Monday Night Raw is shit, you can't defend this show anymore. Fucking Simon from What Culture gave it a double-digit thumbs down. When the fuck does Simon from What Culture ever give WWE a thumbs down? Brian Zane, fucking before his video of who wore it better, he just flat out said the winner this week is SmackDown. Because Raw sucked so badly. So, with that being said, and you can go look up all those videos from this week. If you don't believe me, they have said plenty. Hell, Taz and Jim Cornette, who are two of the more famous people, even Bruce Pritchard, who I know people know, all said this week was shitty. It was shitty. So, why was it so bad? Okay, the first, and why is Raw so bad? I mean, fuck why this week was so bad. This week was a systemic problem of things they haven't fixed this whole fucking year. So, let's just go down the list of problems that WWE has and things that could arise from it and how they might be able to fix Raw. The first problem is that they are fucking the most oblivious fucks ever. And I'm not even kidding there. Oh, we're making all these billions of dollars. We don't have to worry about if people like our product. Me. Okay, first of all, for all of you people that think, oh my god, WWE's just gonna be just fine, this is just a phase, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna put it to you like this. It may very well be just a phase, but you don't want it to turn into 94, 95, and 96. Like it did with fucking WCW. They're lucky as fuck that there's not another company right now that can truly challenge them. Granted, the Elite want to open their own business. I hope to God that's not a troll job, because if it's not, CM Punk this week has officially stepped up and said he would think about joining. The first time in 4.5 years that he has said he would wrestle again. Fuck WWE for, not even trying with this guy. They just, dumped him over and thinking they would get another star. Wrong! So, and I love Daniel Bryan. I do. And I love Seth Rollins. I do. And I love AJ Styles. I do. But one man doth not a company make anymore. It doesn't work that way, especially when your company's being publicly traded and you have multiple brands. The next thing, and about this too, about their obliviousness, is that you're literally forcing yourself to pay-per your shows. Do you really want to give away free tickets and have to pay-per your shows just to say you sold out and da-da-da-da-da? The only thing that's really sold out is WWE's, credibility at this point. Because no, you do not sell out all your shows. I fucking highly doubt that any of the numbers we've gotten in the last few WrestleManias have been legitimate numbers. Because I know for a fact you done not sold that many tickets. In fact, that year that you supposedly sold 101,000 tickets, lie! They only actually sold 90 and papered the other 20,000. So no, you did not break no goddamn attendance sale record. It might have been an attendance record, but you gave away 20,000 of those fucking tickets. So how is that a record? Just saying, all 80,000 people that went to SummerSlam, the one that was in England, where Bret Hart fought the British Bulldog, every fucking person there bought their fucking ticket. I guarantee not a not a WrestleMania goes by, and I don't see those numbers that they just mystically cast out there. That is just people being oblivious. Don't be oblivious to the product. Don't be oblivious to WWE's bullshit. And in terms of WWE, they need to stop being so oblivious to the power that the internet has over freedom and the freedom of our information now that the internet is a thing. People can be like, oh, me, fucking the internet ruined wrestling, me. No, the internet did not ruin wrestling. What ruined wrestling was when WWE decided to fucking kill the idea of kayfabe with all their bullshit, like Total Bellas and Total Divas and Tough Enough and all this other horse shit that they wanted to throw at us. No one cares. No one fucking cares. Especially about Total Divas. My God, every woman on that fucking show cannot fucking wrestle to save their life. You notice that? They call it Total Divas, yet every fucking wrestler on that show cannot wrestle to save their life. It's because everyone that's not on their show has actual wrestling ability. Everyone that is on that show has zero wrestling ability, minus fucking Paige. But that's a story for another time. It kills me how oblivious this company truly is to A, how smart the fans are, and B, how stupid they are. The first thing WWE needs to do is stop insulting our intelligence. As I said, this all goes back to being oblivious. Stop insulting our intelligence. The next thing, and that's a very nice segue into this next thing, repetition of matches. Raw is dying because every week you want to throw out the same people and have the same matches. And I'm going to give you 3 incredible examples from this year. A, you have the Riot Squad, and then you have Natalya, Bayley, and fucking Sasha Banks. I'm going to be honest with you. We have seen a mix and match of that match since January of 2018. And no, I am not joking. One of the first Raws of 2018 featured that match. And they have been featuring that match almost every Raw this year. Some sort of mix and match of that match. Whether it's Natalya versus Sarah Logan, or Ruby Riott versus Bayley, or Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan versus Sasha and Bayley, or Sasha versus Liv Morgan, whatever. Who gives a fuck at this point? What are they fighting over? What are they fighting over? And don't fucking at me with a fucking, oh, she broke Natalya's daddy's glasses, oh, boo-hoo-hoo. Fucking, if you actually believe that that was Jim Neidhart's glasses, then you really are a fucking idiot. I'm just saying. And that's why they need to stop treating their audience like they're fucking idiots. Because this is not at all good practice for a company. Don't treat us like we're stupid, because we're not. We know what good wrestling product is because there's plenty of it out there. The only problem that hasn't arisen from this is that none of these companies have the financial backing to get themselves off the ground. Not even New Japan, not Ring of Honor, not Impact, and not anyone. And you know, it's very disappointing when you see these things happen and no one does anything about it. And it's very depressing. And it's incredibly stupid. Give me a moment, please. I have to put my bitchy dog outside. But, you see, and I'm sure you can probably hear me to some degree, but this problem is a serious issue. And it just, it can't be, it has to be dealt with. Dizzy, get out of here! Dumb dog. Anyway, you know, people have to learn to know what good wrestling is. And most of that is on the indies. And, you know, and again, people will say, well, if you don't like it, don't watch. Here's a problem. There was a time I did used to like watching. Hell, as far back as 2013, I loved to watch. But as soon as Punk walked out on this fucking company, and Bryan was sidelined for what we thought was for life, you know, this company just died a horrible, long death. And not even Daniel Bryan's gonna save this company now. Not even Daniel Bryan. This company, number one, has to learn that it starts at the top. I mean, everyone and their mother, including myself, has said just fire all the writers. Well, that's part of the problem. Yes, the writers are obviously unimaginative, but it doesn't solve the problem. And the repetition of matches is lazy fucking writing from these writers. It's like, oh, and you know, the other two examples I want to bring up here as well. You had for 9 of 10 weeks, there was 1 week they skipped it, and then they just went back to doing it for the next 4 weeks. But it was Gable and Rude versus the Ascension. Why? Why do we need to see this match 9 times over? What's the point? Why do we care? What are they fighting over? If you're fighting that many times, you damn well better have something to fight over. The reason why New Day Usos worked on the level that it did, it was about supremacy. This was not about supremacy. It was random bullshit they threw into the show. I'm sorry, but that's not a feud. That's lazy fucking booking. Then, the other one that I love, and I can't wait to tell you guys the real statistics on this, because I've actually looked it up. Since Extreme Rules, which was in the middle of June, I believe it was June 17th, Dolph Ziggler. Now, before I even get to how many times this has happened, this past Monday, there was an open challenge for the Intercontinental title. And, you know, people were chiming in from all over. Even Ricochet said he'll do title for title and put up his North American title. That got people really excited. Now, I'll admit, when Dolph Ziggler came out, I pretty much deflated. Like, yeah, we know who's going to win this match. But, I mean, yes, it was a good match. But it is a match that has been seen on Raw alone. That's not counting pay-per-views. It's not counting house shows. On Raw alone, this match has been there 18 times since June. You're telling me that a Fortune 500 fucking company cannot think of an original idea? Not one? A company who just signed a $1.5 billion deal with NBC Universal to renew this shit. I'm sorry, but that is not good booking. It is repetitious fucking booking. What point, at this point, does Dolph Ziggler even serve? I mean, now, I'm going to get on to the next problem Raw has. And that is just a nonchalant way of just dropping storylines. And I'm going to get to two incredibly great examples of this. The first one is happening just recently. And, you know how you've got Baron Corbin and the almighty Bobby Lashley. Bobby Trashley is more like it. Bobby Lashley. The only thing he's almighty at is doing an almighty bad promo, which is why they had to call in Lio Rush. Jesus. Fucking Rock and Robin motherfucker. Anyway, and then you have fucking, you know, Baron Corbin, whom, you know, I think people give him a little too much credit for him doing a good job, but yeah, he's good and everything, but, and wrestling-wise, he's okay, but it's time to change it up, especially now. This heel authority bullshit, no. I'm done. Okay, I was done after the fucking authority went down at 32. So, why the fuck do I want to see any more of it 3 years later? And honestly, the last person in this group is Drew McIntyre. I thought Drew McIntyre was a tag team partner with Ziggler. They didn't even fucking continue with that. And there's no reason why these three guys are suddenly together. It's like we got no explanation as to why Bobby Lashley's a heel. We got no explanation as to why these three are working together. And we got no explanation as to why Dolph Ziggler's not in the group, or why him and McIntyre aren't even working together anymore. No explanation. That is a shitty fucking creative just writing. And that's just writing. That's not even booking. That's just how bad this show has gotten. Now, there's more examples. Like, we got no explanation this year as to why Bo Dallas and fucking Curtis Axel suddenly wanted to be the B team. I mean, yeah, I guess they were part of the Miz Tourage, you know, last year, but who cares? Who the fuck cares? You tried to make these guys tag team champions because they're dads, or tag team champions. Sorry, but that shit did not work out well for you. And, you know, again, storylines that were wrapped within, you know, storylines that were never told. And it's stupid. I don't know why. Like, if you really wanted them to work out, shouldn't you have maybe mentioned that each other's dad tagged with each other? If you really wanted this to seem legitimate, shouldn't you have said that the IRS and Mr. Perfect were fucking tag team champions? But no, you want to send them without their B team, let's just blow bullshit. No. Not having it. You gave no story. You gave no background. You just threw these guys together in a tag team because that's what they were doing with The Miz, and you just expected it to work. Sorry, doesn't work that way. And I hate to say this, but this is probably Bo Dallas's last chance. If this doesn't work out, then he's probably gone from the company. I don't know about Curtis Axel. He is a former Intercontinental Champion. They might give him another singles chance, but it really depends on how things shake out in the next few months. But honestly, if I'm Vince, both of these guys are fucking excess baggage. Get rid of them. They don't belong there anyway. And you've got tag teams aplenty in the A show, NXT. Now, this is another problem that I have with certain people. They want to be all like, oh, NXT is the developmental, me. Fucking horse shit. Okay, I'm gonna, first of all, point certain things out right now, which are true and can be looked up even through Google. Okay. First of all, for those that don't know, Survivor Series was outdone by War Games 2 this year in views on WWE Network. That is official. That is not from anyone's fucking webcast. That is not from me. That is not from anybody else. That is legit numbers. And I don't remember the view count, but it was fairly higher than Survivor Series. And the reason why this is because there was zero fallout from Survivor Series. Raw and SmackDown fucking treated it like it never even happened. Which, yet again, just is how bad the creative team is. So, I think creatively, this company has just run out of juice. And they don't know how to do it anymore. I mean, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news to those that do like WWE. I used to love WWE. But the problem is I just don't think the creative juices are there anymore in this company. It all starts at the top. And basically everything is either approved by Vince McMahon or written by Vince McMahon. Now, the next problem this company has: terrible promos that I feel like are written and stated by a fucking robot. And let me just point out a few examples. Especially since this is more so about Raw than SmackDown, even though Charlotte's promos are fucking robotic as fuck. But, oh my god. They had a promo between Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair this past Monday. I would never wish that upon my worst enemy. Number one, number one, the biggest problem with the promos, and I hate to say this, it's not on the talent. I mean, this one especially, it's not on the talent. In fact, the last few I've stated aren't on the talent. They're on Vince McMahon and Vince McMahon only, because this shit starts at the fucking top. You do not get to fuck around with your product and your fans and say, well, I'm making billions of dollars, so fuck yourselves. Sooner or later, that's going to catch up to you. And I think this week was the eye-opener for the fucking YouTube wrestling community and the wrestling community as a whole. I mean, fucking people are posting shit from their phones and putting it online. That's how pissed they are at this shitty product. Okay? But the fact is that you cannot sit there and use this. Shit, I fucking forgot what I was even talking about. But I'll be honest, though. This is just so bad because, oh, that's right, storylines. And promos, that's right. Look at the promo that Nia Jax and fucking, Ronda Rousey gave you on Monday. Nia Jax sounded like this. I am the face breaker. Ha, ha, ha. I am evil. And then Ronda completely just selling the shellacking she got at Survivor Series from fucking Charlotte. Here's the problem. Ronda's promos are not great either, but it's not that they sound robotic and memorized. It's that they're all like, yeah, I'm Ronda Rousey, and I'm gonna whip your ass. Yeah, and I'm really happy to be out here. Yeah, and I'm Ronda Rousey, and I'm the baddest bitch on the planet. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. If you're gonna talk like that, don't smile, 'cause it makes you look like shit. And don't sit there and hug the kids and give everybody high fives and let the entrance roll and be like, yeah, I'm Ronda Rousey. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. If you're going to be the quote unquote baddest bitch on the planet, she's given terrible promos ever since she showed up at fucking Royal Rumble with that goofy fucking fucking smile on her face. Which, God, why didn't this woman go down to NXT and just start with Baszler? Like, a friend of mine who I'm hoping watches this, 'cause I am not going to name him, but I'm going to be, real with him right now. And, just point this out, because he always likes to talk shit about AJ Styles and him having done this. Ronda skipped NXT. Ronda didn't even go to NXT. Yeah, I have been subjected to hearing shit talked about AJ Styles for doing the same thing. Yet, many guys from TNA started in NXT. A lot of, New Japanners that went over around the same time as AJ Styles started in NXT. And I have heard nothing but shit about it. Now, with this MMA fucking, move, you have Marina Shafir, Jasmine Duke, Shayna Baszler, and fucking all starting in NXT. Oh God, what's his name? Who knocked the shit out of fucking Cassius Ohno at War Games. I mean, it's just, all of those guys are former MMAers, okay? And they all chose to start in NXT. Yet Ronda, because her name value alone, got to start on Raw. Explain to me, A, how that's fair to the roster, and B, how that makes any sense, and C, how that's good for Ronda. I understand that Ronda does do a lot of work at the Performance Center. I'm not taking that away from her. But it takes longer than a year to get ring ready for WWE. I've seen it in NXT. Seen guys walk out of NXT after a year, and look what happened. You end up like fucking No Way Jose losing to fucking Jinder Mahal. That's what happens. Which is another thing I'm going to get to in a minute. But the fact is that there's more than just wrestling skills that you need to do in NXT. You have to build a character. You have to know how to talk on the mic. You have to be able to coherently speak. You have to get comfortable with yourself within your character. There's a fuck ton of things that you have to do other than just wrestle to be good. Look at Tommaso Ciampa. That man is a god when it comes to wrestling. Look at Samoa Joe. I mean, Samoa Joe could be one of those wrestling gods if they would push him and give him a fucking title, but apparently this fucking company wants to shit all over anyone that is good, or anyone that didn't start with the WWE. Me. You know, go fuck yourself, Vince McMahon. In fact, why don't you go get Brock and have him fuck you? Because that's the only person you're probably fucking right now anyway. I mean, it's just, it's so ridiculous what is happening right now in terms of just quality of wrestler. And the promo skills, you would think, yeah, I'm on the ready. And you have half a dozen people that do the exact same thing. But, you know, it was a lot more amusing when it was Heath Slater and we expected him to be a doofus. Or it was, you know, somebody like Bo Dallas trying to be a doofus. But, you know, and then we've gotten horrible segments with the B team, like, yeah, we're the B team, yeah, and we're gonna win, cause we're the B team, No, I'm sorry, that is shitty fucking writing. Now, another problem that's especially a problem with Raw is heels versus faces. And I don't mean that in a match sort of way. I mean that in the, in their collective, you know, closet of A versus B in terms of how many they have of one versus how many they have of the other. And it's a great example. You look at the women on the main roster for Raw. They have 13 women. They have 13, which is a great amount of women. You know, that's really not the issue. Or 14 women. Excuse me, I'm looking at this right now. It says 14. And it's from eWrestling, because somebody else stuck a fucking report about this as well. But this is all information that's been data mined from WWE.com, umpteen million gajillion fucking podcasters, Dave Meltzer, Ryan Satin, Bruce Pritchard, and everyone else that spoke out against WWE's just shitty product this week. Here's the thing. You cannot, and I repeat this, cannot make an omelet without cracking a few eggs. And when you look at the women's division, they have 9 heels, 9, and 5 faces. That's almost double the number of heels that you have faces. Now, you look at the men's division. There's no official number, but the only faces that get pushed on this show have been Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. And Finn Balor almost always loses or gets buried. So, it's like every man on this show is either a loser or gets buried. Which is why everyone is fucking turning heel. Raw, they're not the A show, they're the heel show. I mean, every fucking person is turning heel, and that's even on SmackDown. Do you know why they're turning heel? Because they don't want to be the ones to get buried. Because WWE, for some reason, has lost the ability to tell a compelling story with a face. To tell a story of the underdog surmounting all odds and winning. You know, actually, they can do that, just not on the main roster. It's in the developmental me program, which, by the way, is the gold standard NXT. the gold brand, which knows how to do everything right, versus the red brand, which cannot do anything right, and the blue brand, which is sort of a crapshoot. Honestly, you know, looking at a lot of these issues, it's just fucking terrible how bad things have gotten for Raw. And how much of this is just stacking up. It's all true. None of it's untrue. It's just amazing how stupid people are. Then you've got another problem with WWE. It's that they don't give a shit about their tag team division. In fact, Vince has openly said there's no money in tag team wrestling. Shit. Very much so bullshit. And the reason I say that is because you, again, look at the gold standard, NXT. And again, I don't give a fuck who you are, and if you think it's developmental, you're fucking wrong. So, NXT, their tag division, is probably the greatest tag division I've seen since the Attitude Era. And compiled of some of the greatest talents I've seen since the Attitude Era. Do you know what Raw's tag team division is? First of all, I want to give you it's sort of a word that I use. I call it superglued tag teams, which the meaning of that, if they were to give it a, Webster's dictionary meaning, would be that they are tag teams that have been comprised of either A, singles wrestlers that are not in a tag team, or wrestlers that aren't doing anything and they just want to shove them together to make a tag team. I want to list off first the name of tag teams they have that are not superglued tag teams, and then tag teams they have that are superglued tag teams. Now, the tag teams that they have that I know are not superglued tag teams, you've got the Ascension. They are not a superglued tag team. They've been a tag team since NXT. They get buried all the time, but they're not a superglued tag team. You've got the Authors of Piss, who were the Authors of Pain before Drake Maverick decided to piss himself at Survivor Series and then piss all over a robe a week later. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't get that. And I don't see how that's humorous. I don't see how it's funny. I just see it as very bad, cheesy humor, and it reeks of Vince McMahon and all his poo-poo and pee-pee fucking humor that he likes to shove on this show. Not funny. I mean, what was your point of even bringing Drake Maverick to the company? Rockstar Spud was better off in fucking TNA at this point. And what the fuck? I want my Book of Pain back. Fuck the Authors of Piss. Okay? These guys, much like the Revival, also not a superglued tag team. The Ascension, IOP, and the Revival. Revival, one of the best fucking tag teams in the fucking wrestling world today. I do not give a fuck what you think. If you saw them versus DIY at fucking TakeOver Toronto, you know. If you saw them against AOP at TakeOver San Antonio, you know. The fact is that these guys have been BURRIED buried, and nobody knows why. I mean, when you get beat up 2 weeks in a row by lucha midgets that have, they've got talent. I'm not going to harp on that, but again, Lucha House Party. first superglued tag team I'm going to talk about. Do you know who's in Lucha House Party? First of all, you have Kalisto, who was originally part of the Lucha Dragons. I don't know what the fuck happened to fucking Sin Cara, but whatever. Then you have Grand Metalik. I feel so sad for Grand Metalik right now. You were the semi-finalist in the fucking Cruiserweight Classic, and you lost to fucking TJP, who's fucking irrelevant as fuck now anyway, and you have never seen a Cruiserweight title. That man, as soon as my contract's over, if I'm him, I'm headed back to Mexico. Because, no, I'm not going to sit here and throw around piñatas for you and look like a fucking idiot in what was the most racist group ever fucking put together. And I have seen some racist groups. I mean, Titus Worldwide, what I would call the Oreo, another racist group. I mean, give me a fucking break. Titus Catering is what they were. But I'll be honest with you, Hepatitis O'Neil, back when they were a tag team, super glued tag team, Apollo Crews and fucking Titus were never a tag team. They never fought together in NXT. Hell, they weren't even a part of the same type of NXT. But you're going to sit there and make them a tag team for the majority of the year? And then you find out in the fall, oh gee, this isn't working, maybe we should stop after forcing it down our throats for 6 months? Fuck you! You should have broke them up in like a week. And then you've got, let's see, Gable and fucking Rude. First of all, both of these guys have no business being in the tag division. And the reason why is because they're too good for the tag division. These guys should be going after the Intercontinental title and killing each other for it. And killing each other to try to get to Seth Rollins. That would be a compelling fucking storyline. I want my fucking heel Bobby Roode back that was telling Roderick Strong, hey, if your wife wants a real man, tell her to give me a call. I want that fucking Bobby Roode back. Fuck this pussy Bobby Roode that was made a face for some fucking godforsaken reason. Fuck that. And in terms of Chad Gable, this guy was an Olympic wrestler, an NCAA fucking champion. He has more stripes on him in the wrestling world than fucking Brock, minus all the MMA horse shit. So, I'm gonna be honest. Why that guy is not getting pushed as a potential US or Intercontinental guy, I don't know about WWE or Universal, but that's a guy that I could see being a flag bearer for the mid-card. And yet, what do? They stick them together in a super glued tag team, and then what did they do last Monday? They had fucking Drake Maverick steal Bobby Roode's robe, get a distraction off of Bobby Roode so that fucking, Chad Gable gets fucking buried by AOP while, Bobby Roode is watching on the Titantron while Drake Maverick pisses on his robe. Because of all these PP jokes that happened the week before. And fucking, they were terrible ones too. Like, enough with the piss jokes already, okay? And enough with calling them the AOP. They are the authors of pain! And they were called that because of Paul fucking Ellering. Ditch Maverick, get his ass back on 205 where he fucking belongs with these other midget friends, and fucking just, I don't know, but he is not, and I repeat, not, he's he is just not someone that I would put my faith in to be entertaining or manager or anything of that sort. It's fucking awful. I mean, when he first started wearing, matching outfits and trying to go out there and with some swag, yeah, I thought, okay, maybe there's some hope for this. And then you had him all the piss jokes. I mean, I'm done. And this whole run with Drake Maverick, just kill it. I mean, there might be some hope for the almighty Trashly, but, Lio Rush, but, I'll be honest with you, I could care less. Leo's a great wrestler, and, it's sad to see this happen to him, but, why? And you know why? We all ask why, but you know why this is happening and why they're calling on more and more talent? Because they can't get it done with the talent they have. That is the truth. Another problem that this company has, unfortunately, is with holding titles hostage. Now, this started earlier this year with Brock Lesnar. And Brock held the title for over a fucking year. And people thought he was going to drop it at WrestleMania to, Roman. And it didn't happen at WrestleMania. It ended up happening at fucking SummerSlam or some shit like that. Now here's the problem. And this is the problem I have with that, just in hindsight. Yes, Roman has had umpteen coronations, and no, he doesn't need another one. But him being out from cancer, would it have killed you to maybe giving it to him at WrestleMania? I mean, really? Did you really need to keep it on Brock? I mean, Brock doesn't do shit for this company anyway, other than add name value at this point. The guy's a 41-year-old fuck who can't wrestle more than 5 minutes without his diverticulitis setting in. And if you don't believe me, watch his matches from the past 2 years. So, I mean, and it's just why. Again, I ask why. And then the same goes for Ronda Rousey. Yes, Ronda Rousey adds a lot of name value. She does. But when you have her holding a title hostage, and none of the women can do anything on Raw, because you don't want Ronda to lose the title, well, I'm going to be honest with you, I was rather shocked they gave her the title so soon. Because if it had been me booking that shit, she would not have gotten the title until the following WrestleMania. She would have had to fight insurmountable odds, and then would have had that final payoff at WrestleMania. But what happened? She got it at fucking, what was it? SummerSlam or some shit like that. Maybe, but she basically got it off of Alexa Bliss over the summer. She's had it ever since. She's defended it, which, as I give her credit for that, is better than fucking Brock loser lazy fucking Lesnar, who doesn't defend jack shit. But again, I ask of all of you fans, this is wrestling, correct? So in the world of wrestling, technically anything is possible, correct? So why are we sitting here saying, oh, well, nobody could possibly beat Ronda? Who could possibly beat Ronda? Nobody should be allowed to beat Ronda. Me. Fuck Ronda. Fuck her undisputed streak at this point. We all know she's a glorified badass. I mean, and over-glorified at that, because her wrestling skills are still, I wouldn't call them subpar, but they're much better than they were back in April. But I don't feel that they're at a level where she could face an Asuka or a Shayna Baszler or a fucking, even a fucking Ember Moon. Like, you have fucking Ember Moon on your roster, and you're fucking her over for someone like someone like fucking Ronda Rousey. Fuck that. Ember Moon was one of the best things to come out of that class in NXT. And she is a fucking glorified fucking jobber at this point. Fucking Sasha and Bayley had one of the greatest matches at NXT Brooklyn 1. The first. And if you don't believe me, get on the network and watch it. And yet, they are fucking glorified fucking jobbers who are now apparently taking orders from Alexa Bliss because she's been put in charge of the women's division. Oh, yay for joy. Which, again, this part of this video was about the women's division. So, allow me to just put a serious opinion out there. They're doing this, with her because she's injured. If she's injured, why the fuck is she on television? Just saying. Why the fuck is she on television? Don't you want to have maybe a bigger impact when she's able to come back into the ring by keeping her off television? And everybody's going to be like, oh, well, she won't get paid. Actually, yes, she will. For those that don't know, you're going to get paid if you're under WWE contract no matter what. Now, obviously, you're going to get paid more if you go to these Raw shows and whatnot. But, it begs the question, is this a kayfabed angle? Or are they really pushing someone who should just be at home resting? Because supposedly she had a concussion, which I guess is a regular problem in this day and age for the world of wrestling. And Raw especially, you have how many injuries now surmounting on Raw? Which is a great segue into my next problem with Raw. Rookies and injuries. Oh my God. So, at the beginning of this year, Raw's looking alright, but we have had throughout this year injuries. Sami Zayn pretty much sidelined him for the rest of the year up until at least WrestleMania. Kevin Owens with an injury pretty much sidelined him through WrestleMania. They don't even expect him to be back till May. And then, we've got just more reports of guys like Bobby Lashley who are wrestling through an injury. People like Alexa Bliss who are showing up through an injury. We've had tag teams this year like the Revival just now come back because they were nursing an injury. Listen, I don't know if this is a thing or not, and I honestly don't think this is necessarily anyone's fault. But the issue here is that when you lose X, Y, and Z amount of people from your fucking roster, that means the rest of your roster has to show up and to fucking work. And they have to know their shit, and they have to be ready to do it. I mean, being in the indie world, as I have been now for over a year, when you are there or at any sort of event for a first time, You need to show up to fucking work. You need to show up and be ready to do whatever the fuck they tell you. Now, in one sense, I'm sure that's what they are doing. The problem is, they're probably doing the latter, but not much of the first. Now, I'm sure they're doing what they're told, because they want to keep their jobs, which is 100% understandable. But showing up able to work is another story. And, you know, a lot of these guys will show up and through nagging injuries, and they will hurt themselves even worse. And this isn't just even a Raw problem. You know, SmackDown, it's happened. You know, Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy being the most recent ones. But this is literally a problem that if Raw is going to ever be good again, stop forcing these guys to continuously fight in the same matches over and over and over again, because you're going to injure them doing the exact same spots over and over and over again, especially when you put a midget against the almighty Trashley. Okay? No. Now, I want to get to another problem, and I think this is just me nitpicking a little bit here. But Raw, one of the coolest things that used to be about Raw was that it was 2 hours. That it was 2 hours, and that within that 2 hours, anything was possible. They moved it to 3 hours, and I never could understand why. Because 3-hour Raws are fucking awful. Ever since they've been at 3 hours, this has been just a shit show. It wasn't been the flagship show. It's been the flag shit show. Legit. I mean, if you were to put NXT, SmackDown, and Raw, and look at them and maybe compare them to students, well, Raw may as well be fucking Jeffy. And if you don't know who Jeffy is, just look up the fucking videos with Jeffy on YouTube. Raw is fucking Jeffy. Okay? SmackDown, they're not awful, but they're not perfect. So I'd consider them the kid that fucking waited until the night before to study, shows up and is like, "Hey, C's get degrees." No, they don't. Trust me. I'm a college student too, and that ain't the truth. So, and then NXT is, and I hate stereotypes like this, but 100% of the time this is usually the truth. NXT is the fucking Asian kid, doesn't need to study, has in like 5 advanced classes, and never gets anything less than a 98% on his tests. Okay? So, when you're looking at it like that, you know, there's absolutely, it makes no sense. And WWE, in its current state, makes no sense. Now, 205 Live and NXT UK, you know, if I were to give them a tip, you know, I mean, UK just needs time. I did hear this week, and it is official, that they have said any of their talent can no longer work for X, Y, and Z promotions unless they have some sort of WWE, unless the WWE is connected with them in the UK, kind of like they are with Evolve and Progress here in the US. That apparently, it's just more WWE gold digging in another fucking country, you know? So it's just them. And they promised at the beginning that they wouldn't do this to the wrestlers in the UK, and they did it. So, you know, it's just yet another problem, but I'll save that for another time in another video. But, you know, NXT UK and 205 Live, based on the quality of what you're getting in the 1 hour, you know, they're probably like the B plus students, B students, you know, definitely 85, 86%. I mean, 205 is a great show, and it's so sad that it gets shit on so much, especially since Triple H took that shit over, man. I would fucking pay money to see a match between Ricochet and fucking, you know, Blake Murphy. That would be a fucking WrestleMania worthy match. But will they ever do it? No, because we're the WWE, and we suck. But, yeah, you know, it's ridiculous. So, there's probably one more point that I really want to hit home before I get the fuck out of here. Because, you know, negativity, unfortunately, is a thing these days when you're talking about the WWE. The WWE, and all their crap. Seriously, though. The last thing I really want to hit home is this. And it's titles. And really title shots. And on Raw, you know, the Intercontinental title hasn't really felt valuable. The Universal title doesn't really feel valuable. The Women's title doesn't feel valuable. The Tag Team Championships haven't felt valuable in years. But again, that title doesn't feel valuable. Now, there's different reasons for each. Tag team division doesn't feel valuable because A, there's no competition, and B, there's no real tag teams in it. The Intercontinental title doesn't feel valuable because they really do not have a fucking clue what we want. You know, is Ziggler versus Rollins a great match? Yes. Do I want to see it 18 times in 6 months? No. So, you know, that open challenge was a chance for you to maybe start something, you know, heading into TLC and Royal Rumble. But you didn't do it. You could have, but you didn't. Then you have the fucking women's division, which is basically all ball and chain to Ronda Rousey on Raw. And apparently now Fox is saying that they want Ronda Rousey on SmackDown because they want real sports people and real wrestling on SmackDown, which is the truth. Fox has been coming out with shots at fucking the WWE all week long. I mean, they demands. And I am just in shock that WWE hasn't said go fuck yourself, or hasn't just said let's restructure, because Fox is expecting a lot from WWE, and as long as they have this deal, they're gonna get it. And, you know, if WWE fails to provide, Fox will pull that deal faster than I can fucking pull a fry from a McDonald's fucking carton. I'll tell you that much right now. So, pen may have been put to paper, but you see, the real agreement is the fact that it's not WWE giving their product to Fox. It's Fox purchasing WWE's product. If that product is subpar, they're not going to keep it. Okay, this is a station that canceled 4 fucking shows this year. Okay? And those shows hadn't even been around a year. Do you, honest to God, over a 5-year period, think that they're going to sit there and stand for subpar fucking television? No. So, It begs the question, A, how stupid are the fans that think, oh, WWE is just, making all this kinds of money and there's going to be no fallout from it? Yeah, actually there is. And there already has been, whether anyone wants to believe it or not. B, Fox is going to put up with this shit. And when one goes to Fox and one's on USA, which is an NBC Universal-owned network, you damn well better believe if one's doing better than the other, one's going to be like, why is they're doing better than the other? Why are you giving Fox better? Or why are you giving NBC better? Me. No, WWE has literally either A, set themselves up to fail, or B, put themselves in a corner where they may as well be digging their own graves with shit as bad as Monday. And I guess I will end it on that. Because my whole point behind this was to just expose how bad Monday Night Raw was. And I think I have done, it's already on an hour and 10 minutes. I think I've done a good job of doing that right now. So I just want to, tell everyone and forward this to people, show people, let people know, thumbs up, subscribe, I'm not a hater on the WWE, but I will fucking call a spade a spade. And if it sucks, I'm going to tell you it sucks. Because I, A, have way too much integrity to not do that. I'm an honest person. My mama raised me to be an honest person. So I'm not going to sit there and tell you something is good when it's not good. Because I don't have any fucking job at WWE. I ain't headed to Titan Tower anytime soon. So who the fuck cares? Right? These guys need a wake-up call. And supposedly, maybe they got it. I mean, someone hijacked, someone whom they know is from Milwaukee, hijacked the Wikipedia Milwaukee description and called it the birthplace, or no, not the birthplace, but the site of the death of pro wrestling. That's what it reads right there. Wow. How just insurmountably stupid does WWE look right now? I mean, they better pray that tomorrow's episode of Raw is good, because if it is not good, the fans are going to begin to revolt. I mean, supposedly, and what I mean is that supposedly this week, and Ollie Davis from Wrestle Talk was the one talking about this, that 100,000 people dropped their fucking WWE Network subscriptions. Obviously, that's not gonna hurt. It's more like a paper cut financially to WWE than anything. But I think it is a statement. So, again, I don't think there's going to be any killing WWE. I don't think any financial fucking collapse is happening. I mean, it's going to be more likely that the product is going to fall into 1995, 96, 97-esque levels, and more interest is going to be built in someone else's product, which could, in turn, become a problem for WWE. But WWE's not going anywhere, but it's WWE's choice whether they want to be better or whether they want to continue their same shit show. I'm Gary Maloney, here from Sacktown Slam, and I also just want to remind you guys that on December 9th at the Colonial Theater, they are that Global Championship Wrestling here in Sacramento is having a charity show for the victims of the Camp Fire. And I would love anyone who can make it out to this show to make it, because we're going to try and raise some money for those victims out there that are going through the cold, the rain. I mean, just this past week alone, it almost rained all week. So those are the wrestlers that I actually do have respect for, because they're getting very little to no credit, and, you know, they are out there doing it for the people. And that's what matters. So, and what else is there to say to that? I'm Gary Maloney here at Sacktown Slam, and I am signing off. Here's hope.